If you've ever come across a dirty old buffalo nickel and almost tossed it into a jar without another thought, today could change the way you look at every old coin you find. The 1930 buffalo nickel is one of those coins that often hides in plain sight. Many examples look heavily worn, scratched, discolored, or even damaged after nearly a century of circulation. Most people assume a coin in that condition can't possibly be valuable. That's exactly why so many hidden treasures are overlooked. While countless 1930 buffalo nickels are worth only a modest premium over face value, the right one in the right condition, or with the right combination of details, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The first thing to do is simply look at the date. If you can clearly read 1930, don't dismiss the coin because it looks old or dirty. Many buffalo nickels spent decades changing hands in grocery stores, gas stations, and family businesses before ending up in jars, drawers, or inherited collections. Their worn appearance is part of their history, and sometimes that history makes them even more interesting to collectors. Next, check for the mint mark. Turn the coin over and look beneath the words 5 cents. If there is no mint mark, the coin was struck in Philadelphia. A small D means it was made in Denver, while a small S means it came from San Francisco. Each version has its own level of scarcity, and collectors carefully compare them when building complete sets. Even before looking at condition, identifying the mint mark is an important first step because it helps determine how desirable the coin may be. Now take a close look at the buffalo itself. Even if the coin appears dull or dark, see whether the animal's horn is still visible. On many heavily circulated examples, the horn has almost disappeared from years of wear. A horn that remains bold and well-defined usually indicates less circulation, and collectors often pay significantly more for coins that retain stronger details. The same goes for the buffalo's shoulder, tail, and the texture of its fur. Every detail that survives nearly 100 years of use adds to the coin's appeal. Then turn the coin over and study the portrait of the Native American. Can you still see strong hair details? Is the braid visible? Does the cheek remain well-defined? These features gradually wear away as the coin circulates. Coins that still display sharp facial details often command much higher prices than examples that have been worn nearly smooth. Here's something many beginners never realize. Dirt does not automatically mean damage. In fact, many experienced collectors prefer original surfaces, even if they appear dark from age. What often hurts value is aggressive cleaning. A polished buffalo nickel may look bright and shiny, but cleaning can remove the natural surface collectors expect to see. So if you discover a dirty 1930 buffalo nickel, resist the temptation to scrub it with chemicals, toothpaste, or a wire brush. Leaving it exactly as you found it is usually the safer choice. One reason collectors continue searching for the 1930 buffalo nickel is its connection to American history. Imagine where this coin may have traveled. It could have bought a loaf of bread during difficult economic times, passed through the hands of farmers, factory workers, shopkeepers, or travelers crossing the country. Every scratch tells part of that journey. That history is one reason buffalo nickels remain among the most beloved coins ever produced in the United States. Auction records prove that exceptional examples can command remarkable prices. Coins with outstanding preservation, original surfaces, and strong eye appeal have sold for thousands of dollars when certified by professional grading services. While those are not typical pocket change finds, they remind collectors that an ordinary-looking nickel can sometimes be far more valuable than expected. Even if your coin is not worth thousands, don't be disappointed. Many collectors enjoy buffalo nickels simply because they represent a classic era of American coinage. Building a collection of different dates and mint marks can be rewarding, and every coin has a story behind it. The thrill comes from never knowing when the next discovery will appear. Another clue worth checking is the rim. Is it complete and well-defined all the way around the coin? A strong rim usually indicates less wear, while a weak or missing rim suggests heavy circulation. Also examine the lettering. Clear, bold letters are generally more desirable than letters that have nearly disappeared after decades of use. Lighting can make a surprising difference. Hold the coin under a bright light and tilt it slowly from side to side. Details hidden by dark toning often become much easier to see. Many people have discovered mint marks or stronger design features only after changing the angle of the light. A simple magnifying glass can also reveal small details that are difficult to spot with the naked eye. If you believe you found an especially nice example, consider placing it in a protective coin holder rather than leaving it loose with other coins. Buffalo nickels can easily pick up additional scratches if they rub against harder objects. Protecting the coin helps preserve whatever value it already has. One exciting aspect of coin collecting is that every discovery begins with curiosity. Thousands of valuable coins have been found in inherited collections, forgotten piggy banks, estate sales, and old family boxes. The person who originally saved the coin may never have imagined it would become desirable decades later. That's why experienced collectors always recommend checking every old coin carefully before spending or selling it. The 1930 Buffalo nickel reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. A coin covered with dirt, dark toning, or years of honest wear may still be a fascinating collectible with real market value. Sometimes the difference between an ordinary coin and an extraordinary one is simply taking the time to look a little closer. Next coin. The 1959 D. Jefferson nickel looks like one of the most ordinary coins you'll ever find. Millions of Americans handled these nickels every day, buying coffee, newspapers, candy, and gasoline without giving them a second thought. Today, many of these coins still sit forgotten in old piggy banks, inherited collections, dresser drawers, and coffee cans filled with loose change. Most people would never imagine that one small 5-cent coin from 1959 could be worth hundreds, thousands, or in exceptional cases, even more to the right collector. That's why experienced coin hunters never overlook a worn Jefferson nickel, no matter how dirty or scratched it appears. The first thing you should do is confirm the date. Look carefully at the front of the coin and make sure it reads 1959. Then check for the small D mint mark, located to the right of Monticello on the reverse of the classic design. That tiny letter tells you the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. While millions were produced, collectors know that not every surviving example is equal. The difference between a common coin and an exceptional one often comes down to condition, eye appeal, and a few simple details that anyone can learn to recognize. Now take a close look at the overall appearance. Is the coin heavily worn from decades of circulation, or does it still have sharp details? Many 1959 D. Jefferson nickels spent years passing from one pocket to another before ending up forgotten in storage. If the coin still has crisp lettering, clear lines on Jefferson's hair, and strong details on Monticello, you've already found something more desirable than the average example. One feature that collectors love to see is strong detail on the steps of Monticello. While you don't need to count every line yourself, it's worth looking closely at the building. If the steps appear unusually sharp and well-defined instead of worn flat, your coin could attract much more attention from serious collectors. Coins with exceptional detail are much scarcer than ordinary circulation pieces because most nickels quickly lost those fine features after years of everyday use. Another important clue is the coin's original surface. Many people think an old coin should be polished until it shines like new. Unfortunately, that's one of the biggest mistakes a person can make. Cleaning often leaves tiny scratches and removes the original finish that collectors value. A naturally toned coin with its original surfaces is usually much more desirable than one that has been scrubbed or polished. So if you discover a dirty 1959 D. Jefferson nickel, leave it exactly as you found it until you know what you have. Now examine the rim around the edge of the coin. Is it complete and well-defined? A strong rim often suggests less circulation, while a weak rim usually indicates heavy wear. Also look at the lettering. Sharp, bold letters are another sign that the coin has survived in better than average condition. Good lighting can reveal details that are easy to miss. Hold the nickel under a bright light and slowly tilt it back and forth. Fine design elements often become much easier to see from different angles. A simple magnifying glass can also help you spot tiny marks or unusual characteristics that deserve a closer look. Many collectors enjoy searching through rolls of old nickels because coins like the 1959 D. Jefferson nickel still appear from time to time. It's amazing how often older coins remain in circulation simply because people spend them without realizing collectors are searching for them. One lucky discovery in a bank roll or inherited collection can completely change the value of an afternoon's coin hunt. The history behind this coin also makes it special. During the late 1950s, America was experiencing tremendous growth. Families were buying new homes, highways stretched across the country, and everyday commerce relied heavily on coins like this one. Every scratch and every worn surface tells the story of decades spent in the hands of ordinary Americans. That's one reason collectors appreciate these nickels far beyond their face value. Some of the finest certified examples of the 1959 D. Jefferson nickel have brought impressive prices at major auctions because truly exceptional preservation is surprisingly rare. Most examples entered circulation immediately and accumulated years of wear. Finding one that escaped heavy use is far more difficult than many people realize. Even if your coin isn't worth thousands, don't overlook it. Many attractive 1959 D. Jefferson nickels still command respectable premiums simply because collectors need them to complete date and mint collections. A coin doesn't have to set an auction record to be worth saving. One thing experienced collectors always recommend is patience. Don't rush to sell the first old nickel you find. Compare it carefully with photographs of high-quality examples, protect it in a coin holder, and if it appears unusually sharp or attractive, consider having it evaluated by a reputable coin dealer or professional grading service. A little patience today could prevent a costly mistake tomorrow. The excitement of coin collecting comes from the possibility that an overlooked treasure may be hiding in plain sight. Every old jar of change, estate sale, flea market, or family collection has the potential to produce an unexpected surprise. That's exactly why millions of collectors continue searching through ordinary coins year after year. Next coin. The 1961 Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that millions of Americans have handled without giving it a second thought. It was used to buy candy, a cup of coffee, a newspaper, or a ride on public transportation. Today, it remains a familiar 5-cent piece, but behind its ordinary appearance lies a fascinating story that stretches back to one of America's most influential presidents and an era of remarkable change. The Jefferson nickel itself first entered circulation in 1938, replacing the famous Buffalo nickel. The United States Mint wanted a fresh design that honored Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Artist Felix Schlag won a nationwide design competition, creating the portrait of Jefferson that would become one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. By the time the 1961 Jefferson nickel was produced, the design had already been in circulation for more than 2 decades. America was entering the exciting decade of the 1960s. It was the height of the Cold War, the space race was gaining momentum, and President John F. Kennedy had just taken office. While history was unfolding across the nation, the Jefferson nickel quietly continued its everyday job, passing from one pocket to another millions of times each day. The obverse, or front, of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Around the portrait appears the word Liberty, followed by the year 1961, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is displayed along the left side. The portrait symbolizes Jefferson's lasting influence on democracy, education, and American government. Turn the coin over, and you'll find one of America's most recognizable buildings, Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. Above the building is the word E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Below Monticello appears the word Monticello, followed by 5 cents, and United States of America. This elegant reverse design remained a defining feature of the Jefferson nickel for decades. The 1961 Jefferson nickel was struck at 2 United States Mint facilities. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck coins carrying the small d mint mark to the right of Monticello. Combined, these 2 mints produced hundreds of millions of nickels, making the coin extremely common in circulation. Each 1961 Jefferson nickel is made from an alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This composition had been standard since 1946 after the special wartime silver nickels of World War II were discontinued. Every coin weighs exactly 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter, specifications that continue to define the modern Jefferson nickel today. Although millions were produced, collectors appreciate the 1961 Jefferson nickel for its connection to American history and its role in one of the country's most transformative decades. Coins like this witnessed everyday life during a period when families gathered around black and white televisions. Interstate highways expanded across the nation, and the first astronauts prepared to explore space. Many collectors search for examples displaying sharp details and strong luster. One important characteristic is the condition of the steps leading to the entrance of Monticello. If these steps are fully visible without interruptions, the coin may qualify for the coveted full steps designation. Because the steps wear down easily during production and circulation, full steps examples are much scarcer and can command significant premiums among collectors. Collectors also look for unusual mint errors. Off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, doubled dies, and dramatic strike abnormalities can transform an ordinary 5-cent coin into a highly collectible piece. While most 1961 nickels are worth only a small premium over face value, rare error coins or exceptionally preserved examples can be worth far more. One interesting aspect of collecting Jefferson nickels is that many people still discover older examples in pocket change, coin jars, estate collections, or inherited family coin albums. Since nickels are durable and circulate for decades, finding a 1961 Jefferson nickel even today is not impossible. Every discovery reminds collectors that history often survives in the smallest everyday objects. Proper storage is essential for preserving these vintage coins. Experienced collectors recommend handling coins only by their edges and avoiding unnecessary cleaning. Cleaning may seem like a way to improve appearance, but it often removes the original surface and reduces a coin's value significantly. Natural toning and honest circulation marks are generally preferred over polished or artificially bright surfaces. The popularity of the Jefferson nickel series has grown steadily over the years because it offers an affordable way for new collectors to build a complete set. Beginning with the first issue in 1938 and continuing through modern releases, the series spans decades of American history while remaining accessible to hobbyists of every budget. The 1961 Jefferson nickel serves as a perfect reminder that not every valuable collectible begins as a rare treasure. Many historic coins started as ordinary pocket change, carrying groceries, bus fares, and small purchases before eventually becoming pieces of America's numismatic heritage. Every scratch and every mark tells the story of a coin that faithfully served the public for generations. Today, whether the 1961 Jefferson nickel is found in an old family collection or discovered unexpectedly in loose change, it continues to capture the imagination of collectors around the world. It represents more than just 5 cents. It represents American craftsmanship, historical continuity, and the enduring legacy of Thomas Jefferson. So the next coin. The 1995 Jefferson nickel may seem like an ordinary 5-cent coin, but it represents an important chapter in the history of American coinage. Millions of these nickels passed through cash registers, vending machines, and pockets across the United States during the mid-1990s. While most people never gave them a second glance, collectors know that every coin tells a story. The 1995 Jefferson nickel is more than just pocket change. It is a small piece of American history that continues to attract interest from coin enthusiasts around the world. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938 when it replaced the famous Buffalo nickel. The United States Mint wanted a new design honoring Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. German-American sculptor Felix Schlag won a nationwide design competition, creating the classic portrait of Jefferson that remained on the coin for decades. By 1995, the Jefferson nickel had already served Americans for more than half a century. The United States was experiencing a period of economic growth. The internet was beginning to enter everyday life, and technology was rapidly changing the way people communicated and worked. Throughout these exciting changes, the humble nickel continued to play its quiet but essential role in daily commerce. The obverse, or front, of the 1995 Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. Along the left edge appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." The word liberty and the date, 1995, are displayed to the right of Jefferson's portrait. This familiar design had become one of the most recognizable coin images in the United States. The reverse of the coin showcases Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. Above the building is the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. Beneath Monticello are the inscriptions, Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. This elegant reverse remained largely unchanged for many decades and became one of the defining features of the Jefferson nickel series. The 1995 Jefferson nickel was struck at 2 United States Mint facilities. Coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint carry no mint mark, while those struck at the Denver Mint display a small D mint mark on the reverse beside Monticello. Together, these two mints produced well over 1 billion nickels during the year, making the 1995 issue one of the more common modern Jefferson nickels. Each 1995 Jefferson nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the same durable alloy used for nearly all Jefferson nickels since 1946. Every coin weighs exactly 5 grams and measures 21.2 millimeters in diameter. This sturdy composition allows nickels to remain in circulation for decades, which is why many examples from 1995 can still be found in pocket change today. Although most circulated 1995 Jefferson nickels are worth only their face value, collectors pay close attention to coins preserved in exceptional condition. Brilliant uncirculated examples with strong original luster are always more desirable than heavily worn pieces. Coins certified in high mint state grades by professional grading services can bring impressive premiums because truly flawless examples are surprisingly difficult to find. One of the most important features collectors examine is the staircase leading to the entrance of Monticello. If all the steps are sharply defined without major interruptions, the coin may receive the prestigious full steps designation. Full steps nickels are much scarcer than ordinary examples because tiny imperfections during striking often prevented the steps from appearing completely. As a result, collectors eagerly search for well-struck 1995 nickels with this desirable characteristic. Like many modern coins, the 1995 Jefferson nickel can also be found with interesting mint errors. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, doubled dies, broad strikes, and other striking errors add excitement to the series. While such errors are uncommon, they remind collectors that even coins produced in massive quantities can become unique collectibles. An especially famous variety from 1995 is the 1995 double die obverse proof nickel. This variety displays noticeable doubling on several inscriptions, particularly Liberty and In God We Trust. Because the doubling is visible without extreme magnification, it quickly became one of the best-known modern proof varieties. Well-preserved examples remain highly sought after by collectors today. Many people begin collecting Jefferson nickels because the series is affordable and widely available. Unlike many older coins that have become scarce, 1995 nickels can still be discovered in circulation. Coin rolls from banks, old piggy banks, inherited collections, and forgotten jars of spare change. Every discovery reminds collectors that valuable pieces of history sometimes hide in the most ordinary places. Proper coin care is essential for preserving both beauty and value. Experienced collectors never recommend cleaning coins. Even gentle polishing can leave microscopic scratches that permanently damage the original surface and reduce collector appeal. Instead, coins should be handled carefully by their edges and stored in protective holders designed for long-term preservation. The 1995 Jefferson nickel also represents the closing years of the original Jefferson design before major changes arrived in the early 2000s. In 2004 and 2005, the United States Mint introduced the Westward Journey nickel series to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition. Soon afterward, a newly designed portrait of Jefferson replaced Felix Schlag's original artwork, making coins like the 1995 issue an important part of the classic era of Jefferson nickels. For collectors building complete date and mint sets, the 1995 Philadelphia and Denver nickels remain essential additions. While they are common, finding examples with exceptional eye appeal, strong strikes, and full steps can be surprisingly challenging. This balance between availability and quality keeps the series interesting for beginners and advanced numismatists alike. Okay, goodbye guys.